Okay. Go ahead, Mr. McIntosh.
Okay. Let's do this. Good evening. I'm Jerry McIntosh, and this is Our Voices, the People's Media. Tonight, we're going to address some of the protests that went on around the country yesterday that we participated in. So, we're going to address that and other hot topics. Of course, the young Republicans who have sent all kinds of information out about you people, as they say. But first, we'll go to our host, Mr. Derek Scott, who is the chair of the Escambia County Democrat Party. Ms. Gio Lewis Dagg, who is Okaloosa County Unity Committee. I think I'm saying that right. And then Vernon Watson, who is the owner and proprietor of WBQP TV, where you'll be watching this at Aber. So, Derek.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will first start with our normal roundtable discussion, and I will start back with you, Mr. McIntosh. Please share what you have for the group.
Yes, we Move for Change will be doing another fundraiser at It's Personal at on Cervantes Street. This is called Jazz for Justice. Hopefully everybody can make it. It's November the 16th. It's a Sunday evening from 5 to 9. It might be a little bit later, but that's what we're doing as a fundraiser. Tickets are $40 for anybody that want to come, and we will have tickets ready for you this week for the Jazz for Justice, which will be at It's Personal on the 16th of November. All right.
Now, what all are you going to be doing at the Jazz for Justice? What is the
we got a live
purpose? What is it? What are you looking to do? What are you doing?
Oh, it's a live jazz band that's going to be there. We got one of the jazz people that has already agreed. I don't have the name with me right now, but has already agreed to work with us. It's a fundraiser, like I say, for Move for Change, and we're going to be making sure that we raise enough funds so we can do some work on our building. And then upcoming months, we're going to be doing also fish fries and all of that out there to make sure that we do extra fundraisers coming up. But it's going to be a really nice event that's coming up on the 16th, and I'll have more details about it tomorrow and definitely next Sunday.
Thank you so very much. I will go next to Ms. Christina Forrest. Christina, welcome.
Hi, thank you. It's great to be here. I'm super excited. I just got back from Birmingham. I got to see Kamala Harris on her book tour, 107 Days. It was moderated by Charlemagne the God, and incredible experience. Also got to visit the 16th Street Baptist Church for the first time. I have never been, and I know some of us got to hear Doug Jones speak not too long ago, so it was really super impactful. Around Santa Rosa County this Tuesday, we've got our Democratic Black Caucus meeting. It will be at 6:30 via Zoom. For Santa Rosa County Democratic Black Caucus. You can find the Zoom link on our Facebook. And if you're a member, you should be receiving that in your email any moment. But it is up on our Facebook page. For the Women's Club, we will be having our meeting. It will be this Saturday, the 25th at 10 a.m. at the Navarre Library. And we look forward to seeing everybody, and got a lot going on, and just super excited to be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Let me ask before we move on, what differed, if anything, from your Houston trip where you saw Vice President Kamala Harris to the Birmingham trip where you saw Vice President Kamala?
So both were good. I'll start with that. Both were good shows. The questions were different. The audience was different. I think the one in Houston was a little bit higher paced. We definitely had some cussing moments that we did not have at the 5 o'clock show in Birmingham. She looked around and she's like, "There's a lot of babies here," so she wasn't going to cuss in that show, but she told it like it was. I think the Birmingham show. Both shows talked about Gaza, but the Birmingham show, I think Charlemagne asked more questions about Gaza. The one in Houston, Carlos Espina, there were more questions, more so about reaching out and reaching particularly like the Latino community and how she felt about it, that none of those questions were asked kind of in Birmingham. And then she spoke more in Birmingham about Gen Z. There was a lot she talked about, and how Gen Z is going to have more folks than the boomers, and how important it is to reach Gen Z, how they're absorbing information, and how they aren't getting the same information those of us who are older generations are getting, and our responsibility to make sure that we're getting truth out there, and that we're fighting disinformation. So there were definitely some differences. I think a lot of it comes down to the moderators and the questions that were there. Some of the information was the same, but some was different.
So I'm gonna ask a question real quick, Kristen. So Charlemagne the God, he was asking her about Gaza. So
Yes,
so
Charlemagne the
was
God
asking,
moderated
yeah,
it.
right. So he was asking the wrong person. Really, she's not the president. I don't know why they keep. They should be asking Trump about Gaza and the people that's you know
So
that's
his questions were based on what she wrote in her book. So talking about how she felt during that time, talking about Biden's response to it, talking about their relationship. So it did pertain to the book, not so much questioning her per se as to, but just how she felt during that time. And like I said, Houston touched on it too. It's just there was a lot more time spent in Birmingham talking about it. And then at both the Houston show, and I went to the 5 p.m. Birmingham show. She also had an 8 p.m. show. But at none of the shows that I went to was there any disruptions during our event. But once we left, there was protests right outside that we lit just to make it back to the car. You had to walk through the protests, and that was what it was. So, but nobody disrupted her show.
Well, thank you for that. Mr. Vernon, what do you have for us?
I don't. And the only thing I got is that we got the Veterans Day parade coming up. Okay, on November the 11th. We want folks to participate in that. And there, I think y'all's already signed up, haven't you?
Oh, I was just looking to see where I could do it now because I forgot about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, go ahead and get signed up for it and everything. But it's scheduled for November the 11th, and that's the only thing I got off the top of my head.
All right, thank you for that.
Mhm.
Going over to Miss Jill, what do you have?
Good evening, everyone. It's so great to be here. Good to see everyone this evening. Glad you're joining us. For Okaloosa County, they did, we're going to do No Kings afterwards, right? So we'll just skip past that. But if you remember last week, I talked about a joint community meeting that Okaloosa was having on Friday the 17th. And myself and Tamara decided that we would go, and really had a good opportunity to connect with other organizations. And so I know we've done it in Escambia County. I believe they do it in Santa Rosa County. But I would suggest that we really look at these joint type of meetings and then bringing it across county lines so that we can share the things that they're working on. We learned a lot about some of the work that the NAACP is doing, going to the jail, and the requests that they're going to make for Sylvania Heights, what they're doing there. Barry was there, and he was able to tell us that they got a huge grant for a park and a huge grant for something else. And so there's a lot of things going on just in Okaloosa alone that if we don't have these different organizations there, then we just don't know, even though we're very engaged and involved. So I would just throw that out there. And then the Zetas did have their tea this weekend. They also have on October 25th at 6 o'clock, their Blue Carpet Affair, Grand 90s and Final 2000s, Finer 2000s. That is Saturday, October 25th. And then we invite you to join the Okaloosa County DBC. They will be doing Packs at Court. People demand accountability for Senior Airman Roger Fortson. It is at 9 o'clock at 1940 Lewis Turner, which is the Okaloosa County Courthouse. And then the NAACP has their events in Niceville, Florida on Parton Drive. Many of us on here are going, and we invite you to join us for that. And then just another note, there are concerned citizens and DEC members that will be having a meet and greet on Tuesday, as our chair has decided not to call a meeting. And so the rest of us have decided that what we will do is we're going to get together. We're going to get to know each other. We don't have a vice chair anymore. We don't have a secretary, and we don't have a treasurer. So it's time to come together and to sometimes you have to be accountable for things that go on, and sometimes you have to take things into your own hands and get people together and say, you know what, we can't stop because somebody else's feelings might be hurt or they're trying to figure out a different way. We're going to come together and we're going to do it together. And so if you are one of those people listening in our viewing area and you would like to come to the meet and greet on Tuesday at 6:30. It is at the Niceville City Council chambers on Parton Drive, where we always meet. There will not be a Zoom because it's a meet and greet, but we do encourage anybody that is interested to join us. And that's all I have so far. Thank you so much.
Wow, look at that. Look at this. Okay, this is Democrats movement group. Well, what I will share is a couple of things. The Escambia Democratic Party is having their meeting for the month of November on Tuesday, which is October the 21st at 5:30 p.m. And it's going to be at the Downtown Library, which is at 239 North Spring Street. Please, if you're interested in knowing what we're doing, if you're curious about what the plan is for 2026 and how you can get involved and engaged, join us then. We have both in person as well as you can join us via Zoom. Please feel free to reach out if you'd like the Zoom link and you want to join us. We're happy to have you there, but we'd love to see you in person. We are also collecting hygiene products for the Epps Christian Center for their for their Thanksgiving food giveaway. We typically do kind of assemble a bags of toiletries kits for the unhoused community here in Northwest Florida and in Escambia County. So we're asking anybody if you have any travel size toiletries like toothbrushes, soap, bath gel, deodorant, toothpaste, small packs of tissues, shampoo, chapstick, lotion, other things that you think might be appreciated or valued by the unhoused community, please purchase them. Feel free to purchase them and drop them off at our office. Our office is located at 2618 Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. That is here in Pensacola, at the corner of Martin Luther King and Cross Street. We'll be happy to take those. Any donations that you can spare, we would love to have, because we do give out about 130 kits to unhoused communities. So we'd like to continue that tradition and do that as well. Also, if you would like, we're also collecting bath towels and washcloths and pillows. So if you'd like to donate any of those, you can also drop those off there at the Escambia Democratic Party office as well. Just also one thing to share is that the Escambia County Democratic Black Caucus is pleased to announce their inactive voter virtual kickoff, which is going to be held on Monday, November 3rd. It is a Zoom meeting, and so we'd love to have you there. Right now, there are over 16,000 Black voters in Escambia County that are at risk of being removed from the voter rolls here in Escambia County. So we want to do everything that we can to make sure that those people are aware and get themselves reactivated on our voter rolls. And so we'd ask that you join us in our kickoff effort to do that. You can sign up now, or you can join us. You can reach out to the Escambia County Democratic Black Caucus at ecdbc_@outlook.com. Again, that's ecdbc_@outlook.com, or you can join us by signing up at the link below, which is at mobilize.us/S/LNNF, capital F, capital U, capital Q. So please join us for that event. We'd love to have you. Again, we need all hands on deck so we can prepare our community in 2026 to be ready to go to the polls. So please join us in those endeavors. And I thank you. That is all that I have that I would like to share. So I will turn it back over to Mr. McIntosh. And I guess we're going to talk about no kings.
Yeah, no king. I'll let you talk about that. I was surprised at the amount of people that turned out yesterday down on the airport in 9th. But it was really, really nice. The atmosphere was really nice and festival. So, it just, people had the different signs I was reading. It was just really nice. And, the people that was in their car, they came through, it was all day. They were blowing the horn all day. They were letting you know that they were, really concerned as well, or they was acquiescing what we were doing. So, really great. But I'll let you talk some more about it, Derek.
So I guess for those who aren't aware, yesterday across the nation, groups all across put together the second installment of several protests that have happened nationwide. Some of you may have been familiar with the No Kings protest that happened earlier this summer. Well, this was No Kings Part 2, and it happened in every single state across the United States, and there were about 3,000 different protests in all of the 50 states. And here locally, we had one in Escambia County. We also had one in Okaloosa County. And yeah, and that was yesterday. They had it. If you drove by, if you're in Pensacola and you drove by or through the intersection of 9th Avenue and Airport Boulevard, and you saw the abundance of people who were standing out the corners with their signs, honking or shouting about no kings and trying to save democracy. That is what that protest looked like. Here in Escambia County, the numbers are varying. So the WEAR3, our local channel, our news channel, estimated that there were 2,500 people who attended the protests locally here in Escambia County. And the News Journal counted 3,000 people who attended the protest. Now, I'm pretty good with numbers, but I thought both of those were, maybe I just don't count people very well. I'm not good at estimating people in small spaces. I think I aired more towards the 1,500 to 2,000 mark, but my math is wrong. I wasn't counting bodies as I walked by, to be quite honest. But I do know that there were a lot of people out, and I do know nationwide, across all 3,000 protests in all 50 states, they had over 7 million participants who engaged in their act of protest, which is something that's afforded us through the Constitution. And it was reported as the largest protest in the history of the United States yesterday. So you could tell that there is a lot of unrest with what's happening within our democracy and to our democracy. And yesterday was the way to expound.
Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, got up the other day and said, it was a hate American rally. That it was going to be people out there that support Hamas and communism and terrorists and Antifa, which I guess you don't know that Antifa means anti-fascist. so I don't know, because I guess, then, I guess next time we'll be anti-Christ or whatever. But all the stuff that he said, they tried to do. I mean, what he was trying to do is frighten people from coming out to the rallies around the country, but it didn't work. And as a matter of fact, I think he might have helped it by calling people that and saying all that, and people say, "I'm going to go to show that I'm for democracy in this country," and and they still trying to make it as if it was nothing. You got 7 million people that was protesting, and when you count scientifically, and it's their numbers around 7 million. That means so every person that there is like a polling what you would call a polling of how America feel. If it's 7 million out there, that means it's over 100 million people, close to 100 million people that don't agree with what Trump is doing. When you really think about it, because when they do the scientific polls, that's what they base it on. This is America. They'll say they'll poll 500 people and say this is how the American people feel. So 7 million ought to make it more at least 100 million people that would be out there. But then, those people that didn't vote the last time was close to 100 million that didn't vote. So I'm hoping that that people turn out this time around, and the force that will force Johnson and all of his ilks out of power. But the thing that they're doing now is very dangerous, and we need to definitely address that as much as possible. And hopefully people will get out and vote and participate.
I wanted to share just some of the pictures that were collected yesterday at the protest here in Escambia County, and some of them aren't good, some of them are great. There are some of the corners, again, this took place on all four corners of the street on 9th and Airport. You can see them there, some of our Florida Young Democrats of Escambia County. Again, looking at this is at the corner closest to the mall. You can see people there, seeing people in the streets. Some again, you're in there, some young Democrats with their signs. See no kings, everybody had flags. There were lots of artistic banners. There was an aerial shot of some of the folks that they burned out. And then again, if you look at the corners, there are good signs, and there's our very own Gabe Alamont with some of our young Democrats. And that was the first thing that I saw when I got there, with the people in the ducks. And I took that picture for BJ because I know we had conversation about the people in costumes. And again, some of us with the young Democrats. And there's our very own Linda Fussell who had a sign. Father fought for fascism, really new. They're the signs that we walked, Mr. McIntosh will attest. We were a moving billboard that we walked around saying vote. And so my goal was to hold the T. And we got some work to do on their T because it's a little flimsy and flaccid. But, they'll figure it out. Again, just some additional shots from the sign. We did have some agitators that were there. Yeah. That was to be expected, and as you see again, it's just all over the place. How was that?
Great. We talked last week, I think we hit on the Supreme Court, the arguments before the Supreme Court on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. That argument took place, and from what the analysts are saying, is that it looked like the right wing of this country and on the Supreme Court is a possibility they're gonna overturn Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which is the last vestige of the Voting Rights Act. So they are contemplating that it will be overturned. Hopefully it don't, but more than likely it will. And I guess the next thing they'll go after the 14th Amendment to overturn that as well, because they don't want Black people voting in this country. And on top of that, they're saying we could lose as many as 19 to 20 some seats if Black people, then the Democrat Party could lose tremendously, because we've been the base of the Democrat Party for so long, and they can, if this ruling come down, they can redistrict just about every district in the country that we hold now. That's Black people hold positions on. I mean, they represent. They could take that away from all the Black legislators in this country. Christine.
So yeah, I've been watching this. I'm going to sit and actually listen to all of the arguments, and it's terrifying. Black Voters Matter has come out, and they said exactly what you just said, Jerry. It's going to, if they do away with this, it's going to affect 19 seats, hands down, possibly up to 33 seats. Up to 33 Democratic seats could be lost, but 19 hands down. And it is horrible. It is horrific to think about. Like I said, I just came back from Birmingham, and just walked through a church, where 4 little girls were killed, and one young lady was blinded. She's she's elderly now. And it's just, and right around the corner from that, you have AG Gaston Motel, which was bombed. And because that's where Dr. King and other leaders used to go and meet, and was the only hotel open to Black folks in Birmingham. And when you look at, I mean, Birmingham used to be called Bombingham, and because of the number of bombs, that the amount of hate. And I think when we think about that, at least for folks who are younger, you know, it's not that far away. It's not like it was a million years ago. This isn't like ancient history. This is our parents' history. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, that was during the time, you know, that's people, the lady that's alive now, she's just about my age. And
Right.
when the Birmingham, I remember all that when they bombed the churches in Birmingham, when they killed the 4 little girls. But there was so many other people that were bombed and killed. Back then, they bombed buses that people would SNCC, the nonviolent coordinating program that they had. They bombed their buses, they bombed all cars, everything. I mean, you know, it was just a whole host of things. They bombed. It was just that because of the 4 young ladies that was killed. It became a national story, but the rest of the stories never made it, except the bus bombing of the bus with the SNCC. And the only reason they did it then because it was whites on that bus, but they weren't covering a lot of the things that took place, the bombing, the killing, and all of that until later on uh, during the Selma protests. It's when they began to cover more of what was going on and some of the stuff that happened in Montgomery. But in Birmingham, there was a lot of stuff covered up. And just like in Mississippi and Arkansas and other places in the Deep South, in the Delta part of the Deep South, it was so much covered up back then.
And I think a lot of folks also don't realize how much of this was state sanctioned violence.
Exactly.
How much of this was, you know, it wasn't just groups acting independently. This was groups working with the police. This was groups working with all these other groups. And it was state sanctioned, taxpayer funded violence. And so the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act was written in blood of our ancestors, you know? And just like Trump wanting to take away the picture of the scourged back, trying to take away the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, that was all paved for by our ancestors. And civil rights is for everybody. Civil rights isn't for one person, but it's Black folks that paid the price to give it to everybody. And so I am just watching and horrified at what may come out of this.
Jill?
I'm going to say Project 2025, page 133. That's where we are right now. So, you know how I said I wish we knew what page they were on? They're on page 133. Start there, read it. You'll see what's about to happen. Is it horrible? It's awful. Everything Christina said, I can't say it better than she just said it. But I think it's important for us to start understanding that, yeah, we explained it to you before and we told you to read it, but maybe if we give you the page number, you can go see what's really going on. Because sometimes it's hard in the way they present things. they always make it seem like they're doing good for somebody. And if you're not careful, you might fall into the trap of thinking that there's some good in anything that they're doing. I'll go back to, I tried to be quiet, but I couldn't, but I was for 5 minutes. Let's go back to the No Kings thing, because I was unfortunately not able to attend the one in Pensacola or Okaloosa County, but I did go look at the pictures that they put online, WEAR and the News Journal, and then I read the comments from those people. And one of them made my mouth open, because they always are so not like, they're so freaking creatively nasty. So they said, oh, you guys had 7 million. We had 77 million on our No Kings Day, November last year. And then they showed the map. You know, that map that is red with these little pieces of blue? And I was like, ugh, you know what? Ugh. But they're so darn, just like their wave. I mean, just the way they do things. And the people were going off of that, like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, I mean, it completely, just by that, changed the direction of the conversation. So I'm not putting anything. To me, I just was like, really? I'm glad that 7 million, and I had to fact check Derek, because I was like, I thought the Women's March was the largest one, and Derek was right. That was only 5.5 to 6 million, and this one was 7 million. This was the largest. I was like, what? Was it really? So good job, Derek. And so for us to have 7 million people to speak up, I noticed in a lot of the pictures, they didn't look like us. So what I would hope is that the 7 million people, not to say that there were not Black and brown and other people out there, but if we can take that 7 million and then more of the other populations that didn't show up can join together, then we have a momentum to at least change things locally. It's going to be very difficult to change the greater scheme of things, but you can solidify where you live by getting registered, get out to vote, get educated, take part in understanding what's at stake, and then doing something about it. So I hope that that's what they got from that momentum, because protests are a phenomenal tool, but only if there is an end game and goal and result. So that's all I have to say on that.
I think people are beginning to realize that this totalitarian, wannabe dictator is not just, it's not just going to hurt Black people in this country. It's hurting white people that was once his right hand people. He going after them, and then Ali Belsi, I can't think of his name. Anyway, on Velshi on MSNBC, he was saying today that they are putting together a whole list of people that they want to go after that's in the White House. So, people been leaking stuff to them that they got another list of people they want to go after, enemy list. Now, that's nothing but totalitarian, stuff that they're doing right now, dictatorial, power that they're trying to use against people. So nobody, anybody that think they're safe is not under dictatorship. Because if you say anything that they disagree with, they're coming after you. But what I saw yesterday made me more hopeful, because people are coming out and they're saying, no, we're pushing back on this. We're not going to let you turn this country into a dictatorship, and you are not a king. But he running around talking about, I didn't say I was a king, but if people want me to be a king, I'm like, No, don't nobody want you to be a king. Nobody wants you to be president. Not anymore. We want you gone out of here.
And I mean, how disgusting was that AI video that
Yeah.
that he put out in response to the No King's Day? I mean, I remember the Tea Party protests and everything like that. I could not imagine if President Obama had done anything in response to those protests, like what he just did yesterday with that little AI video. That was just disgusting.
So for our viewers, I just wanted to define it because you used it twice in your conversation, your statements, Mr. McIntosh. You referenced totalitarianistic type of form of government. And so some of those, because I think a lot of us use a lot of these words like fascism and authoritarianism and totalitarianism. And some people may not know exactly what that is. So I wanted to give a little bit of context to what totalitarianism is. It's the way it is. It's an absolute state control over all of your aspects of life, and that's its main focus is enforced through coercion, propaganda, and suppression of dissent. So what that looks like, some of the characteristics is a centralized power or dictatorship, where we have single party rule led by a dictator or an autocrat. There are no checks and balances, and all authority flows from the top. The opposition parties and dissent are outlawed or violently suppressed. The state controls all mass communication channels, i.e., Sinclair. Propaganda is used to shape public opinion and reinforce loyalty to the regime. Independent journalism is banned or tightly regulated, as evidence as we saw here in the state of Florida. If you recall, they passed a law saying that if you were talking negatively about the governor, you had to register with the state of Florida. Like, you're okay. They talk about surveillance and repression. There's secret police that monitor citizens, often using fear and intimidation. They have arbitrary arrests, imprisonment, and sometimes torture. They're common tools to silence the critics. And citizens are encouraged to report on each other, eroding trust. If you recall, there's a tip line here in the state of Florida that you can call the tip line if people are saying negative things. You can call the tip line if you suspect someone is undocumented and you want to turn that in. There's the ideology is uniform. So there's a dominant ideology and it's promoted, and that is infallible, and that's where it is. The education and arts and sciences are manipulated to serve the regime's goal, i.e., getting rid of vaccines, i.e., Black folks benefited from slavery. And you can't have any alternative beliefs or philosophies. And the state dictates not only the political behavior, but also personal choices, like personal choices centered around morality and family life, i.e., women's reproductive health. Their traditional institutions are suppressed and co-opted, and you're expected to conform to that regime. And that's what totalitarianism looks like. If you look at real-time examples, you can think of, or real-life examples, rather, you can think of Nazi Germany under Hitler, the Soviet Union under Stalin, and the fascist Italy under Mussolini. Those are some of the examples. So people are trying to understand what totalitarianism is. That's what it is.
And also, you can look at North Korea, Russia today. Under Putin, all his opponents end up dead that run for presidents. In North Korea, if you say anything against Kim Jong-un, he throw you in prison in a goulash somewhere, or you end up dead. He killed his own uncle for disagreeing with him, so you know what he'll do for you. So those are the kinds of people that you got. Then you got the one in the president of Hungary, he's a dictator in Turkey. He's a dictator. So it's, and this is the people that Trump aligned himself with around the world. He moved away from any democratic form of government to a dictator form of government. The people that his friends are dictators now. They're not the people that was our allies that fought in wars with us against a lot of the people that he have aligned himself with right now. So those are the kinds of people that you have right now that Trump is pushing in the country, and he haven't. I don't know of anybody that he worked with lately that has any democratic ideals. I don't know anybody because everywhere he go, it's all about the dictators that he's working with, and he just bailed out the dictator in Argentina. And this is why he's so adamant about he gave him $20 billion now, he turned around and given him another 20 billion. So it's going to be 40 billion. Next thing you know, it's going to be another 60 billion. But all of the farmers here, and this is for their farming and soybeans over there, but the farmers over here can't get nothing. And and we talked about a little bit last week about how the white farmers who are now, there is an outcry because they're not getting anything, but they sued to stop the black farmers from getting the money that Joe Biden had allocated for the black farmers, which was a measly $5 billion, that they were, had to break up between all of the black farmers. So, but now they see the suffering, and and it's sometimes when you do something to somebody else, it comes back around. Karma karma came back to them, and they thought their boy was going to be the one that going to bail them out and make sure that they were still selling their soybeans, because soybeans is a big money maker around the world. But we were selling all our soybeans to China, which I think it was around what, 13, 14, $15 billion each year. So they were getting over like a fat rat. But now China buying their stuff from Argentina, Brazil, and other places because of Trump put that tariffs on them, and now they're going elsewhere to buy their product.
So I totally agree with you. And Derek, what you were just talking about, and then also thinking about Project 2025, I always remember what Stacey Abrams would talk about on the steps that a person would take to become an autocrat, winning an election, expansion of executive power where the president decides he wants more than what he's supposed to have, making Congress complicit. You weaken them, you neutralize them, or just basically do away with the judiciary. Firing all the people who know how to make work like civil service in an effort to break democracy. Putting loyalists in places like FBI, Department of Justice, Department of Defense, breaking communication, blaming someone for broken government, broken promises, which Abrams said looks like the attacks on DEI. Eliminate anyone who can help communities by suing law firms that do pro bono cases, going after philanthropy, accusing them of giving them money, going after colleges, ensuring and incentivizing private violence by sending Marines, National Guard, ICE into streets, and lastly, deciding there's no new election, which is not hard to do because by that time everyone is either afraid, poor, broken, or complicit. And she would often talk about, Russia still has elections, but the elections don't matter because it's already decided.
Yeah. When you win 95% of the vote, you know that everybody else, anybody else that's running is just just a stand-in to say, yeah, we have free and fair elections, but everybody know that it's not. Um, in North Korea, he don't even pretend that nobody's running. If you do run, you won't be around. If you do announce that you're running, you won't be around to talk about it the next day. And same thing really with Putin. Um, People end up getting thrown out the window, or they jumped out the window some kind of way and committed suicide, or they fell accidentally some kind of way, or they got cancer immediately after not having it, after they done got a full checkup. So it's just so many things that they are doing, and Trump want that power because he said he want his people to follow him like Kim Jong-un people follow him, and then to fall in line when he says something, and people still trying to analyze what he's saying. Yeah, I don't think he mean that. He do mean it. He said it. He's telling you that he wants to be an autocrat, a dictator. He telling you that, and every day he tell you that, and still you up there talking about, well, I don't think that he, that's just like boy talk or something like that. I'm like, no, this dude is real, and he's doing what he said he was gonna do every day. Somebody his life is being put in jeopardy because of him. Their livelihood, rather, because it's just the idea that a sitting president will give orders to a Justice Department, which is supposed to be an independent entity of this government. But everybody he said he wants to go to jail, they are going after them, and that's that's already dictatorship.
Jerry,
Uh-huh.
why do you suppose that the public is not pushing back? I don't see where I know we have the No Kings March yesterday, but I don't see the level of pushback that we're seeing from this country. Maybe they're going to come to accept dictatorship. I just can't see, because it's not going to. You're not going to get it legislatively, because we don't have the power to do anything right now. So the only thing I can see that we can take democracy back, we got to do some civil disobedience and stuff like that. I don't see a lot of that happening right now. So I'm not sure. I think we doomed.
I talked to people yesterday. I don't know whether you talked to them, Derek, or not. They was talking about, I was supposed to get on with them today at 1:00. They was talking about organizing a national strikes in the country. Did you talk to any of them yesterday, Derek, when you were down there? You on mute.
Who is this?
I don't. It was some people that they was in the protest. They was I don't know if they part of individual or not, but they were I talked to them, and because they came up, they had some information on a little flyer, and they were going to do a Zoom meeting today at 1:00. And they was talking about trying to get together to organize a national strike against Trump and the big corporations in the country, to try to bring the country back to where it should be as far as democracy is concerned.
How they plan? What the strategy, Jerry?
I don't know. That's what they was going to talk about today, and see how many people would be willing to work with them to help move a national strike. And one of the things I told her, I said, you can do boycotts now, which is something you can do immediately, because you ain't got to buy no cars, you ain't got to buy clothing, it's the only thing you can buy right now. You need to buy right now, just some food. If
So,
you know,
just so I'm clear, somebody from Pensacola is trying to organize a national strategy on going against this?
I didn't ask them where they were from, so evidently they were probably from here. But they were saying that they've been talking to people around the country, and that's why they were going to be on Zoom today at 1. They had the meeting today at 1, but I didn't get a chance to get on because I was doing some other stuff. But
That one.
yeah, but I would have liked to hear the strategy that they had behind it, the potential strategy that they might come up with to do it, because they've talked to one of the guys that he had talked to some people overseas when they had a national strike over there in France, and that brought the country back to where it's supposed to be, which happened a few years ago when they was I don't forget what he said was all about, but anyway, they had a national strike. It was other countries that have had national strikes before, that have brought politicians to their knees, because once corporate America and other big business start losing their money, they're gonna bring the politicians in line. One of the things that Martin Luther King said, that also he says two sides to politics. There's the economic side and there's the political side. He said if the economic side will bring the political side to the table to negotiate. And he was right.
Well, he proved that in
with the
in
bus boy.
1955. Yeah, 55 to 60, he proved that. Yeah. Anytime you can hit them in the pocketbook, you can get compliance. But I don't see a lot of that strategy is going on, and also the tolerance for the law breaking in this country by the president of the United States. It just unfounded. I just never.
But Vernon, one of the things we're looking for it on national TV. But national TV, national television now is owned by the right wing. Like people like Peter Thiel and others, billionaires who are right wing, who are supporting Trump. So anybody that's on their team, any anchor people or reporters, they kind of got them under control. That's why they got rid of people like Joy Reid, the other three sisters. The other sister, she used to have the nerd program. I can't think of her name. She used to come on every Saturday.
Tiffany Cross. Is that who you're talking about?
Well, Tiffany Cross is one of, but the other sister that was before Tiffany Cross, before Joy Reid. Joy Reid took her place. She was a professor. They used to come on. They used to call it every Saturday. I can't think of her name right now. It'll come back to me. But
again,
anyway,
but again, Gary, you see they slowly but surely dismantling that. I just can't imagine what have been done in the first 9 months of this year, going on 10 months of this year. Okay, we got another almost 3+ years of this. Well, are we going to be in the next 3 years? If he's doing this in 9 months, okay, I can't imagine where this country would be in 3 years. I just don't see a lot of pushback with it. As crazy and stupid and ignorant as he is, they don't call him down on it. It's just unimaginable to me that when Biden or anybody else was in office and talking about Biden's mental decline, this fool, I just can't believe it. Anybody, but there's no pushback to him. Somebody needs to do something to push back, to do something to stand up to it, to do something. But maybe just history. Maybe it's just the will of history that this country is on the decline. We were the greatest country in the world, but everything don't last forever, and and we definitely begin to see the decline of this country. So all I can say is that all the folks that voted for Trump, if they don't feel voters remorse, uh, uh, voters
Yeah,
remorse.
remorse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know what to think, but um, but he certainly will give folks a reason. I would think if they're serious about saving this democracy, he would definitely give people reason to go out and vote. Now, if a lot of people didn't vote in this election, in this past election, and a lot of people, I'm not talking about black folks, I don't know a lot of white folks, I know a lot of black folks, and a lot of black folks voted for that damn fool Trump, and they was bamboozled, and I don't even see them look like they're having any voters remorse. I don't know what you and I lived through. We lived through this, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
We lived long enough to feel a little bit of freedom. Okay, but because they never, I think majority of them that are younger than what we are, didn't feel the impact of what racism is all about. Okay, so they didn't feel it, so they can't relate to it. So they don't think it's real. But
Right.
I'd be damned if they will feel it. And we've been trying to sound the alarm for a long time about it, but it looked like we just gonna have to live through it. And it's gonna take generations, if ever get back to this point. May not ever get back to this to the point that we was 10 years ago.
Right. And it's because, like you said, they dismantling everything, every agency that was beneficial to the American people is being dismantled. I mean, it's just a whole host of things they are doing right now that people fought for in the 60s. And most of that had, like I said, the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was the last vestige of the Voting Rights Act. And they probably going to try to go after the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment guaranteed you the right to vote, but it was never enforced. Now that means that we're going to have to push the 14th Amendment so we will have some semblance.
Leave it up to Trump. They're probably dismantled the 13th Amendment.
Yeah, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment was written for us. But these people are serious about overturning everything that we have gained in this country. And the thing about it, they are using our tax dollars to do it with. And we got to fight and let them know that this money that you are using is our tax dollars. And we, black people got to come up out of that thing about, oh, I can't be out there because I'm scared something's gonna happen. If you think you're scared now, go into a dictatorship where you have no rights whatsoever, where a person, you and I can be sitting in our house and a person can come, they can send people to take your house and give it to somebody else, give it to them, take it away from under dictatorship, under totalitarian forms of government. They do that every day. And
I don't think people believe that, Jerry, because they can't relate to it. So they don't believe until it happens, until it's too late.
Right. And we at the point we're at the precipice of dictatorship right now. And they are showing you every day what they will and willing to do. And if I think we got maybe another year before the country go under dictatorship.
Oh, probably less than that, Jerry.
Totally. Yeah, I'm talking about totally dictatorship.
We already got the dick part of it, and only see two more months to the dictatorship.
Yeah, I think people are beginning to wake up, a little bit more because his poll numbers have dropped. But if we don't get the House back in 26, it's doomed. I mean, it is doomed. You can forget it because the Republicans not going to do anything to help
What are the
save the
chances of getting the House back in 2026, Jerry? What do you think?
I think we have. I think we have a pretty good chance to get the House back.
Okay, and if we do,
Still says zero.
okay,
Right. She's right.
So first of all, let's sit here and let's talk truth. We're not dreaming. Like, that's a dream, Jerry. I love you and I respect you with all my heart, but that is a dream. The chances of us getting the House back is zero.
Mm. You
That's
I
think so?
agree.
truth. I mean, we're
I
telling you
agree
that
with
doesn't
you.
mean don't vote. That doesn't mean don't go out and do what you need to do to save your community. But the chances of us getting the House back, we're in a shutdown, and they have blamed all Democrats, is zero. Even though we don't have nothing to do with it. I'm just saying. So
Well,
Yeah.
they're blaming them, Gio. I don't think we blame. I don't think the
no, I'm
American
not
people
saying we
buying
are.
that.
It doesn't matter. There's not enough Democrats to do this without Republicans, and the Republicans are blaming us. The answer is zero. There are zero chances of getting the House. So what's the next thing?
I believe that we ought to hold the line on the shutdown. Okay, I believe that because I think we hold the line on the shutdown, regardless of what comes out. The Republicans are gonna get blamed for that. They're in control. They're in total control of every damn thing. The House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court. And if people start feeling the pain, okay, they start feeling the pain. That's the only way we ever going to get it. And it's the only leverage I can see where the Democratic Party has right now is the shutdown, because
Right.
the shutdown going to hurt more than just black folks. Okay, when they start hurting them white folks and them the mega folks, we're going to see some. I think we'll see some change. So I hope Chuck Schumer and Hakeem and all those boys up there don't chicken out. Okay, don't back. Hopefully they don't back down. Just hold. What can you do? Okay,
So-
it can't get in. Go ahead, okay, go ahead.
Oh, no. I wanted to hear your point.
Well, like I say, because I believe if they give away, this the only leverage, in my opinion, that the Democratic Party has right now, and I believe we can still come out on top of it because we don't control anything anymore. Okay, and I believe that the American people, when they start feeling the pain, they're gonna have to chalk it up to the people that's in charge, in control, the White House, the Senate, and the Republicans, so to speak. So I don't care if they don't ever open up the government again. Okay, and and I say this too, just like I say about a lot of things, and I say, sometimes what I say about gun control, I say that we ought to have a Mamie Till moment with gun control, just to show people what those guns can do to babies and folks like that. I say the same thing about this. We're gonna have to show people that this stuff really affects affecting you, and you're not concerned about it until it hit home, and when it start hitting home, and then that's when we have to have what I call the moment of truth, when people start really feeling the pain. We already feel it already, but I don't think the people that matters start feeling it enough, or if they start feeling it, then I think some things gonna change. So I keep the government closed. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you, Vern. That's the only leverage that the Democrat Party has right now is to force the hand of the Republican Party, because off the time, everybody want to be statesmen and state women and all of that from the Democrat Party, while the Republican Party get away with murder. Well, this time I hope that they stick with it, because if they don't, that's it for us even winning back the House, because it's going to disenchant people. Going to become disenchanted with the Democrat Party, like they did before. Even though the Democrats do way more for the country and people than any Republicans have ever done.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
again,
what.
But again, like I said, because we when I was talking about having MLK moment, a Montgomery bus cop moment. You know, they went 366 days. People suffered and sacrificed, but they brought them to the table. Okay,
Right.
we got to have that same kind of thing now. Okay, and that's what I think that the Democratic Party ought to hold to their guns about not opening the government until it start people start feeling it. And we're not going to, the Democrat Party, what can we lose? They're going to blame us anyway. So what in the hell can we lose? Hold the line. I hope they will, but I don't have a lot of confidence, but I hope they will.
Tell you, I hope so too.
So I just want to say, if the Republicans really wanted the government open, they have a nuclear option. They can open the government. This is solely and squarely on them.
Exactly.
They have the means to be able to do that, and that Democrats are fighting so that everyone's healthcare doesn't double and triple. And so that the ACA doesn't fall apart. That's what they're fighting for. But this shutdown is clearly on them. And if they wanted to reopen it, they could. What I would say to Jill's point, I 100% agree with Jill. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be out there telling folks to vote and how important it is to vote and for folks to run for office, because we can't win if we don't run. But what I would also say is look at the maps, look at how the redistricting, look at all of that. That is all going to play a part. Even if we all 100% vote the right way, if our maps are skewed, if this gets reconfigured, it's we're not going to be able to win back the House, the Senate, or ever take back the presidency. Those things matter. Voting rights matters. Voting rights secures all rights. That starts with fair maps, starts with fair districts. That's where that starts. So even if we all do everything that we preach about, if we get redistricted to a point, we may never see power again. And I want to be really clear about that. And so I'm not saying don't go out and do our civic duty, don't go out and not re-register people, but I'm saying watch these maps. Watch how that's going. It's going to affect all of us. And I'm not for keeping the government shut down indefinitely. I don't want to see people lose food stamps and everything else. I do want to see it reopen. I'm glad Democrats are doing what they're doing. They need to hold out. Republicans, if they want to reopen the government, they can do it by themselves, which they could do today, tomorrow, or any other day that they want. If they want Democrats to come to the table, all we are asking for is health care. That's it. And not even an expansion of healthcare, just keep the healthcare that we have at the rates we have it.
Well, Christina,
I want to share, with this, just so we can reframe the narrative of number one, Democrats aren't looking for power. What Democrats are looking for is an opportunity to do something that's better for the American citizens. I hate when we say we're looking to try to regain power. That's not, because it sounds like we're no better than Republicans. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to have the opportunity to reshape and build a better future for those, for the United States and all who live in it, right? And
but
in order
Derek,
to do that, is to get that. Hold on one second. And then with that, what I would like to say is that, to Jill's point, is that all politics are voting. Right. So even if you aren't able to affect what the House looks like, or even if you aren't able to affect what the Senate looks like, you absolutely can affect what your mayor looks like. You absolutely can affect what your city council looks like, and your county commissioner, and your school board. And that has direct impact because they impact your lives more so than anybody at the executive branch or anything like that. It goes down to what's happening locally. So we can affect changes at the local level. We're moving the needle further. But I wanted to talk about, because you guys keep saying that it's the government shutdown rests solely on the hands of the Republicans. And while I agree with you on that, is not the message that's pushed out. And how are we able to counter the message when we have things like this? And there was a show I wanted to share on TikTok that kind of exercise, like, because we all live here, and most of us, we all are in Escambia County, Santa Rosa, we're in Northwest Florida. And in that stratosphere leaves us with WEAR and Sinclair. And we talked about Sinclair having the majority of the media that's portrayed, but I wanted to share something that they were talking about with Sinclair Station. For those who don't know, listen.
Hey, Derek.
Yes.
Hey, can I interrupt for a minute? I don't mean to interrupt it, but every time we play stuff like that, it's copyrighted stuff, and YouTube will shut us down because it is copyrighted material. Every time we play something with like that, we get shut down on YouTube.
You're on YouTube, are we?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Okay. But you can continue, but it's just gonna interrupt the show on YouTube. But go ahead, if you want to continue.
Well, I say that to say, like, you see, every news station is saying the exact same thing across the United States. And so just yesterday, with respect to the No Kings protests, they talked about all Sinclair stations ran the same piece about George Soros funding the No Kings protests to the tune of $3 trillion for people who went, and it's solely to rile up, to the Antifa folks, to cause chaos and anarchy amongst those things and things like that. That message, and similarly, the message that the Democrats are responsible for the government shutdown, is going out across all of America exactly the same way, in the exact same wording. So how do you counter that? It's not enough to just say, well, they're solely responsible for it. How do you counter that? Because everybody is getting the exact same message the exact same way.
Derek, now let me jump in on that. I don't think it's just only Sinclair, but that's a Republican strategy. Okay, that's what Republicans do. They that's one thing they're good at. They send one message out, and everybody from the news media down to politicians, everybody has that same message. Okay?
I get that. They have the same message, but it takes the media to put it out. Like, everyday Americans aren't listening to Mike Johnson and fill in the blank Republican man say the same message. You might hear Mike Johnson say it because you watch Fox News, but if you don't watch Fox News, you don't hear that message. Everybody across the media is saying they're pushing the point. I guess my point is they control, the Republicans have the talking points, but the media is pushing them out. So it doesn't matter who's saying it or whether it's a Republican strategy. The point is that the same message is going out across all of the United States. And you're right, it's not Sinclair, it's Nexstar or Next Gen or whatever the other major broadcast.
CNN,
So
MSNBC,
I guess what's your
all of them,
question?
all of them push that same, because everybody got the same message and they want to be so fair and balanced, they push out the same propaganda that the Republican Party put out there. When they invite any Republican guests on there, they got the same talking point across all platforms, okay? And yeah, I agree with you. You got folks like Sinclair and you got folks like Fox News and all that kind of stuff. Certainly they're going to be pro Republicans and put out there. But you got so-called and that's the reason they got rid of the public broadcasting station, because they know they was neutral. But again, you got also these folks like CNN, which want to be so fair and balanced. I'll quit watching them now. They so fair and balanced. They're bringing in the Republicans with the same talking point, and nobody refutes them. Okay, on the view, nobody, when they put out that propaganda, nobody questioned it. They let it go as unchecked, and I got a problem with it.
Talking points and scripts are two totally different things, because I can deliver a talking point. The same, Jill and I, we get talking points, and Christina, we get, and Mrs. McIntosh, I guess, too. We get talking points every Wednesday from the Florida Democratic Party, but we're all going to say them different. It might be the same point, but they're saying differently. These people are saying the exact same thing verbatim across the United States.
Because the difference is that their talking points are not talking points, Derek. They are, this is what you are to say, period.
Exactly.
Or don't open your mouth. And so they say, okay, I'm telling you, the babies, I believe that they literally take their milk. And after they take their milk, they are then transformed into, this is what we're going to talk about today, baby. This is what your first words are going to be. MAGA. Say it with me. MAGA. MAGA.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it is. Derek's right. If Christina, Jill, and Derek had the talking points that we get all week, and Jerry, we're gonna all do it differently. We're talking about the same thing, but it's gonna be different. Everybody's gonna put their own little flair into it or their own example into it. They just don't. They are given, this is what we're going to say, and that you don't deviate from it. They can't even get them off topic. They can take a whole nother topic and bring it right back to the same topic, and they say the same thing over again.
Right.
But my question, I guess, Derek, is, I think I'm lost in what your point was. Was that your point, or were you asking us a question? Or was your point just, this is what is going on?
This is what's happening, but we're talking about, we keep saying that the American people are, I guess my point is that the people are saying the American people are going to say, oh no, it's rests solely on the hands of Republicans, or they're starting to figure it out. And I'm offering a very opposite approach to that, because they aren't starting to figure it out, and they can't figure it out because they keep hearing the exact same thing, whether you're in Pensacola, Florida, or in Sacramento, California. You're hearing the same 86 words being said by your newscasters in your local areas. So that, my point is, unless we have, which we don't have, an electorate that does a whole lot of self-research and due diligence to say, okay, well, what's happening? And they're trying to save the Affordable Health Care Act. At no point in time on any of our news media stations have you heard them talk about Democrats are trying to save healthcare, trying to make sure that your healthcare premiums don't skyrocket after this. No one has ever said that publicly. You hear Hakeem Jeffries say it. You hear Nikki Fried say it. You hear Ventress Driscoll say it. You hear all of those people saying it, but those 4 or 5 people aren't being broadcast all across the United States saying the exact 86 same words that are being permeated to people's minds. So if I can leave here, if I can watch the 6 o'clock news here, and then get on a plane and hopefully make it to California in time for their 6 o'clock news, or their 7 o'clock news and hear the exact same words that I heard in Pensacola, what chance does the electorate have to be educated about what's going on?
And you know what you know what the beauty of it is, if you can call it a beauty, and it's a real beauty too. They got the newscaster saying it because you think that when you hear it on the news, you have some legitimacy to it. It's not like a politician saying it, but they got not only they got politicians saying it, but they got these. That's what Jared had said earlier about taking control over the broadcast. Broadcast.
They did it masterfully. They
didn't, right? They do it.
They didn't look for they aren't in large markets. They're in middle markets and small markets. So exactly. All the middle market people, like if you're in Orlando, you'll never hear the same broadcast that everybody else hears. If you're in Tampa, you don't hear the same broadcast. But I guarantee you, everybody between Pensacola and Duval hear the same thing. Right? There's no difference.
That's the reason, because you got all these big broadcast medias, and they own all of these stations, and they have to.
Right.
They have to.
That's my point. Yeah,
exactly.
So
okay.
With that, what chance do you have of getting the information out? Like, we're doing our part, but we have WBQP. What else do we have? We have Sunshine's Corner. What else do we have?
We're at zero. We just need to understand we're at zero.
Yeah, that's my point.
This is where we are. We are at zero. We are at ground zero. We are at zero. We are at zero. And, Christina, your points are valid, but Derek is saying that although we know it, the majority of the people will never know it. And that's and Derek's talking about what I'm going to call the open airways. That has nothing to do with their dark side that they go to, that we remember right. Still haven't captured or gotten into. The dark side probably makes it even worse.
Right.
So what do we do? I don't know. I think that they have no choice but to hold out for healthcare. They have no choice but to hold out for healthcare. And as soon as the Republicans get tired of it, then they'll do whatever.
They'll do it. Right. Like I could argue right now, like yesterday, Mr. McIntosh and I participated in No Kings. They said George Soros paid everybody and they funded the No Kings protest. Number one, I don't know what it costs to stand on the street corner. Last time I checked, I didn't get my check. So I don't know where the money comes in at. But because I don't know who did the broadcast here in this game. I don't know who was sued. I'm not sure who it was or where it came during what broadcast. But they said it. So at what point in time can I successfully argue, no, it's free? Well, they're like, Channel 3 said it. That's what happened, that George Soros, and that's Channel 3. I trust Channel 3. What choice, what opportunity do I have to refute what they have just said because it was on Channel 3? Now I know, even if you use your critical thinking skills, okay, so tell me how you fund 3,000 people going to go individually stand on the corner. What cost is there that's incurred by a group for those 3,000 individuals to come together to stand on the corner? What are they paying?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. Okay.
Only thing they put out there. That's my point.
But their critical thinking is they must have paid you to do that. The only reason you would stand on there is you must have received some money. So everybody got $20, $50, $100.
So that's true. So let's think about that. So if they paid $3 trillion, that if George Soros gave $3 trillion for No Kings 2, right, to participate, and 7 million people participated yesterday in that. That means each of us is due around $440 some odd $1,000. Mr. McIntosh, today or yesterday, did you get a Cash App or a Zelle in the amount of $440,000 for this global people for you walking into the thing?
If I had, I'd have been back out on the corner today.
If you had, you've been going to jail, because if they send you $440,000 and you accept it, you're
going to be back out there today if I had a cap for it.
Right.
But Derek, again,
so I'm mad.
Well, no, it didn't have to be that you got all that money, though, Derek. You're thinking that meant funding does not mean that you get the 440 or the whatever.
No, the article
in their mind, you
the article didn't say
$100.
It also talked about them paying the people, the attendees to
Yes,
attend the
but he didn't
protest.
say how much they paid. Just because you can raise, Jolly just raised $500,000, but does that mean that all that $500,000 is going to go towards his campaign, or is he going to use part of it for whatever? We don't know.
Right.
But he's
Right.
going to use
I'm
part of
just
it
saying.
towards the campaign.
The
So he
problem,
got
the
five hundred
problem
So
thousand.
with
let
it,
me ask Mr. McIntosh, did you get anything above or a penny
Yeah,
yesterday
we
for going
already
out
know.
and
Why are
sharing?
you asking Mr. McIntosh? Christina
But
didn't
I'm
get
just
it
saying, like,
driving by
but
it.
I can
I
argue
didn't get
that
it
and I can
dreaming
share
about
that.
it.
And
Now,
I'm still not
I
gonna
didn't
give
get
you
one cent, Derek. I didn't
not
get one
one
cent.
penny, not one damn dime.
But
I'm
because
not
Derek,
yes.
it doesn't matter. You know, we arguing about something that we know is not true. Okay, so
Right.
that's the moot point. The point is that they put that shit out there, okay, but nobody refutes it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They put it out there, and then when there's nothing to refute it, they don't have any evidence to support it. Nobody questions it, so it lays out there unchecked. That's their strategy. It's working perfectly for them, and people without having it fact checked, no, you know, to them it's true,
But what
and it's
good is
working.
fact checking? I guess that's my point. What good is fact checking if they said all of the protests were like or demonstrations of violence and anarchy and whatnot? Now the news journal just said it was a peaceful protest. WEAR just said people gathered, right? They didn't say it was peaceful. News journal said it was peaceful. If everybody across the world, across the United States, said that got the same message that the demonstrations were violent, how do you fact check that?
You got cameras. You know it wasn't violent. They fact check it all the time. You know it wasn't
Fact
violent
check it how?
when you saying that it was a violent protest, and you got video showing that there's no violence, then that's you can check it.
So
But
then they're gonna say, "No, but that's just yours." You just
my
said there
point
were
my
three
point to you is
thousand. Yeah.
that whoever reported it was a violent contest or a protest never
Mhm.
follow up with it when they are fact checked. Nobody ever follow up with it and say, "Well, we made a mistake. It was not violent."
They're not going to. They're not going
Right.
to follow
That's
up. They're
that's my
owned by the
point.
people.
Well, that's my point. They can throw shit out there and it'll stick. Okay, because nobody take the time to clean it up.
Right.
see,
So
that's
you're
what.
making my point. That's what I'm saying.
But they betting on people to be that stupid, and I don't think the American people. I think there's a huge amount of white supremacy and racism, but I don't think the white people are quite that stupid yet. You know, I mean, to believe everything that Trump and them put out there, because that's why his poll numbers are dropping. Now, I'm not gonna say that they're not some that's they just Martin Luther King talked about people who are sincere ignorant. He talked about sincere ignorant conscientious stupidity. And there are those who who like being stupid. They are conscientious stupid. So they want to hear that and believe it, but they know it's a lie because they know that Trump don't do nothing but lie. But it is a lot of Republicans are regretting voting for Trump. You can bet that. But
So,
but they are both. What we have to work on is the congressional districts that we can where we still have some foothold right now. But if the Supreme Court overturn this Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it's big trouble for America and for Black people in particular.
what I would say is, I don't see that huge regret yet at all. I see that there are some farmers who are upset. There are some folks who are upset, but I don't see like this huge collective regret. I don't see it locally. I don't see it statewide, and I see parts, nationally. Some groups may feel that way, but as a collective, I don't think they have that voters remorse yet. At least that's, and that's coming from my own personal feeling, not coming from anything scientific. But you know, sometimes I'll go on community websites which are majority Republican. They're not downing Trump. They're doing exactly what Derek said. They're downing Democrats. It's Democrats' fault, this, that, and the other. They're not downing Trump. They're not, they're thrilled. He's doing exactly what he said he was gonna do. And if things aren't going favorably, it's the Democrats' fault, one way or another.
Well, you know, where we are in a Republican stronghold. And I'm saying that over the, you know, when you see 7 million people come out, all them not Democrats. When you see in June, 5 million people came out, they weren't all Democrats. And this thing is getting bigger and bigger. So if you got 2 million more people came out in October than just almost what, 4 months ago, 5 months ago or something, it's getting, and I think the next one gonna even be bigger because people are beginning to realize everything that, you know, this is not just going to hurt. It's, you know, just the voting right. You're talking about cuts to education. You know, they're cutting funds to states where they have Democrat governors and mayors and stuff like that, as if Republicans don't live in those states. Those Republicans that live in those states are being hurt as well as Democrats that live in those states, you know, and you can bet that there's a lot of mad Republicans because you think about the people losing their jobs and all that. Some of them are Republicans. You know?
The problem I see is that they don't, when we should be protesting, they should protest Trump every time he do something stupid, like letting that boy out of jail. They should protest that when they cutting your services, and when he do some stupid stuff, which he do every day, then there need to be instant protest against all that. I know they take polls and stuff like that, which don't mean nothing. But if people start protesting his actions, maybe that might have may make a difference. It may not, but at least every time he does something, it just goes unchecked. Is all I'm saying to you.
A question. Do we think those, and then Christina, but I just have a question. Do we think the 7 million people that were out for the No Kings rally on Saturday would have gone out the day the government shut down and said, thank you, Democrats? Or 15 days later went out and said, thank you, Democrats? The 7 million that we're talking about that are so upset, would they come out and say, you know what, I'm standing behind every Democratic leader who said we're going to stay shut down until everybody has equal health care so that they can live and not die like they want us to? Do we believe that those 7 million people would say that then and or today? And I'm asking Derek and Jerry because y'all went to the No Kings. Do you feel like those wonderful, fabulous 3,000 people in Pensacola would say, yes, Democrats are making the right decision on holding out for health care for all?
I don't know if all would say that, but I do believe many of them would say that, you know, because that's what I think people are looking to the Democrats to stand up.
Right.
And that's what people have been asking for, the Democrats to stand up for something, you know, fight for something. And, you know, I think that people, you know, when people see you willing to fight for their cause, that they are willing to fight with you in many instances, most of the time. But when you don't, when the only thing you can do is capitulate to the Republican Party on things that's going to hurt the people of this country, it's going to hurt Black and brown people, going to hurt poor white people, going to hurt children in this country. I think people are, you know, are responding a little bit better than in the past. I got more hope yesterday than I had the day before. I'm just saying. I'm saying that I believe that we're gonna win back the House in 26.
Well, Jerry, I agree with you. I agree with you about.
No,
I
chill.
think they're looking. I think they're looking for the Democrat to fight back. You know what? Just to make light of this just a little bit because it's so serious. We got to laugh about it. But if y'all never used to watch wrestling, and then you know when you had the bad guy always beating them, doing dirty tricks, and then all of a sudden the good guy finally gets up and start fighting back. I think that's the moment we're gonna have to see in with the Democrats. Democrats are just rolling over, in my opinion. Okay, we're just rolling over. Yeah, Christina, we're rolling over. They're not doing anything now. I think the best thing they've done so far is the shutdown. Okay, I think Gavin Newsom is the only one that fight. Hey, come on with me, Jill. Gavin Newsom, the only one that's willing to get down in the mud. Okay, so he having a relatively little bit of success with it, but fight. I don't see the Democrat Party just being a bunch of cowards, not fighting back.
Well, you got the governor of Illinois, and you got the Maryland governor, and others they are fighting hard against Trump. But
question is, Vernon, who is the Democratic Party to you? Because we are all part of the Democratic Party, and I know you just call us cowards.
I know.
No.
I'm willing to get in the mud. I'm willing to get in the mud.
Thank you.
But you're not willing to get down in the mud with me. I need y'all to come get in the mud.
Hold, please.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you.
Wait a minute. Hold, please. Jill. Now, I know, and you know, and I know. Now, I'm going on this point agree with Mr. Vernon. And I'm going to say, because you and I both, and another party, both scoured the internet trying to find why House Democrats in Washington, D.C. supported that resolution for Charlie Kirk. We also scoured the internet to try to figure out why 45 United States Democratic senators said, yes, we're going to give Charlie Kirk a National Day of Observance, which took place this past Tuesday on October 14th. That is 100% cowardice, it's capitulation, and it is poor leadership. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if we sit up here doing this. And let's call a spade a spade. That was pathetic. And we looked for the explanation and couldn't find it. Why? Nobody wanted to say anything. So you cannot sit there in good conscience, not talking about what we're doing. You can't sit there in good conscience and disagree with what Mr. Vernon said based on that alone. Now you can't, maybe it's unfair to say they're cowardice all the time. But in the last 60 days, they've been some punk ass bitches. Let's be for real. Let's just call it what it is. And then we can move forward and say, okay, well now y'all showing some knuck if you buck with this government shutdown. You knucking and you bucking and ready to fight. Now let's see if we can get through the whole song, because I don't know if we're gonna get there. Right now we on right before Prince's verse saying we knucking and bucking and ready to fight. We ain't all the way through the song yet. So I'm gonna wait to see if we get there. But you know you can't disagree. Tell me I'm wrong.
He is right in what he said to a certain extent. We did scour the internet for about an hour to try to understand where the people that are elected officials could ever sit there, like he said, in good conscience. And that part, yes, Vernon, I'll give you. But all of them, all the time, absolutely not. And you said Democrats who, again, you're thinking, Derek, that he's talking about those. But do you know how many Democrats are fighting every day and are watching this show? We're not calling them cowards. We're not.
I'm talking about,
but it doesn't matter what you're not talking about. What was said,
I'm talking about the folks in
and
leadership.
Then you extrapolate what you extrapolate, and it becomes reality. So that's why Christina and I were like, "What?"
I ain't talking about voters. I'm talking about leadership. We ain't even gonna
Then some
still
people are in
touch.
leadership. You don't have to be in the White House to be in leadership.
I don't
If you say
disagree with that.
politics is local, if you say
I don't
politics is
disagree
local,
with that.
that's clearly not the case.
I agree with you, but it's still my argument still holds. Again, like
Now,
okay,
you would be right, because I saw some people made Charlie Kirk streets so very close to us. So,
right. And
but anyway, but that is
some Democrats,
there's not enough
in certain
Democrats to
cities in
stop
the state
that.
of
But
Florida agreed and capitulated, as Mr. McIntosh continues to use the word. They capitulated to Republicans and allowed that. To me, that is cowardice. Like that in and of itself. I ain't talking about Democrats who are going out to no kings. I'm not talking about those who are
I'm not
fighting.
talking
I'm
about
talking
no
about those
kings.
who hold.
It
I'm
takes
talking
more.
about folks who hold office. That's what I'm talking about. Like until you can hold off. And I even take it a step back, further back. We even asked folks in leadership, "What's up with this?"
Yeah,
What they said. What did they say? What they said, Jill? What they said? What they said? They ain't say a damn thing. Ain't nobody said nothing. It was quiet. It was radio silent. So that's my point. Like,
It's
yes,
as
and
if
I'm still
for
gonna be
so
loud and
many
proud and happy to
people,
be a Jim. Right?
yeah, it's as if for so many people, um, that person that we were just talking about, that they really didn't see a negative side to it. And I read on somebody had a Facebook post that just said, if you, they were Caucasian too, they weren't, and they said, if you listened and you didn't hear it, it's because you're just like him, because he spoke to what you wanted to hear. But if you would have been listening with your other ears or looking at it from a different lens, you would have clearly understood what he was saying and who he was speaking to and what he was speaking about. And so I have to believe black, brown, white, purple, pink, whatever our elected officials were, when they listened, they lost their mind, their color, their everything, and said, it's okay. We're gonna have a national day, and all you have to do is get shot and be white and talk.
Right.
That's
Right.
crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. That's not, I mean, we've lost so many lives, so many powerful people of all backgrounds, and none of them got a flag lowered. None of them, I mean, but here we sit.
And
And
again,
so
we
what
talked
do we
like
do?
we had the 14th that just passed. We had an opportunity to speak truth to power, as you like to say. Opportunity to come out with it. What we got? Let's talk about some book bans. Now, book bans are important. I agree. I am all the way down with book bans on every other day except that day. That did not need to be the focal point of the day. Any other day, I'm right there with you. We can put book bans, whole please for 24 hours. In October 15th, you should have picked it right back up. But on October the 14th wasn't the day to talk about book bans. What did we do? We played it well. Safe. We played it safe. But safe was the thing to do. We don't want to piss nobody off.
Mm-hmm. The thing about it, to me, let me say in no uncertain term that I'm talking about the leadership in Washington D.C. and those who have the money to that they can help send people out, while the Republicans have the House closed. The Democrats should be all over the country. What are you doing in Washington right now? Except trying to, say the Republicans are not there. Now, the Black Caucus should be people from the Black Caucus, people from the Democrat Party, from Congress should be all over the country explaining what's going on. As far as I'm concerned, maybe I'm wrong, or I stand to be corrected. But at the same time, if the House is shut down, let's go out here in the streets. Let's be out at these rallies. Let's be a part of something that's going on that can help the people and explain to the people what's going on. because the local media probably going to pick it up if you are there. But I saw, and maybe a couple of, I saw Jasmine Crockett, she was speaking. I saw a couple other people speaking, but I'm saying, wait a
And I
minute.
always be Jasmine Crockett. She can't be the sole defender of democracy from the Democratic Party. She can't be
Right.
the sole person.
Right. Her and the AOC is out there just about every day fighting. But then I'm looking at these other people. Where are they? Or you that controlled that you can't speak at rallies? Or you that controlled you can't go and have town hall meetings? It don't have to be in your district. Call up people that you know that's in the Democrat Party locally and ask them to set up a meeting for you. So then you come explain to the people what's going on. Because you are being accused of shutting down the House. But when we know that the Republicans are the majority in the House, they can open the House anytime they get ready. But you sitting there talking about they are not opening the House. You should be on every television station, every radio station, every local social media, everything. If you have to come out in 3 or 4 at a time and talk about these issues.
So can I just give a list of some of the Democratic leaders who did go out and speak because I know we've only got a few minutes left, who did go out and speak at the No Kings rally. You had Senator Chris Murphy, Senator Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Representative Lloyd Doggett, Representative Greg Caesar, State Representative Gina Hinosa. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. Representative Pat Ryan, Representative Paul Tinoco, Representative Raphael Warnock, Representative Adam Schiff, Senator Cory Booker, and that's just a few. And there were more. So they were out at the rallies and at some of these really, really big rallies doing that. But it's not like, just like Derek was talking about the Sinclair group, it's not like their words were going to be plastered everywhere.
Yeah. All I can say is, at the end of the day, to me, when you have the opportunity to stand up, you stand up. All the other stuff, if you don't stand up when you're supposed to stand up, I want you to retroactively try to stand up for the times you didn't stand up. Look at me, I'm standing up now, but you didn't stand up yesterday. You didn't stand up the day before. That's all I'm saying. Do better.
And Christina, I know what you're saying that, yesterday there were some out there more than likely, but it can't be just one day. If they need to be all over the country if they can, I'm sure they have some kind of traveling budget that they can use, to go to different places or to, see where the people are at, have more town hall meetings while this shutdown is going on. That's what I'm saying. While the shutdown is going on, have some town hall meetings other than just waiting on the next big rally.
There should have been at least 215 folks out.
Yeah.
You just gave a list of like 12 or 13. I ain't hear you give no 215. So like that, I guess that's my point. And then all other days, there should be folks out there.
Since they ain't got to go to work, they should have been there.
You ain't got nothing else to do, right?
They getting paid, so show up at the damn rallies.
Yeah, the rallies are nice, but they need to. It just can't be one day. They have to show up. I know Warnock could be showing up in Atlanta a lot of times up there. When he go home, he's there at the church. He's speaking different places in Atlanta because I've been there when he was there. But it's just that it's so many others that from the Black Caucus that to me, and and maybe because they go back to their districts, but then I don't see the town hall meetings because if you're doing it, make sure it's on social media. Make sure that it's being recorded if you're talking out there.
So I guess my thing is also make sure that you're following the folks on social media to be able to see it, because it's not going to get broadcast. It's it's not going to get that huge push that we need, and they're accountable to their districts. That's where they're going back to. We have to remember, particularly here, we live in a Republican think tank. We don't have this huge mass of Democrats coming out to speak to us. We're not near the Capitol. And so there is a definite void here. And it's felt. It's certainly felt. But I am not going to be one to call folks. I'm not going to say Democrats are cowards. I'm just not. Have there been mistakes made? 110%. 110%. But I'm not going to call them cowards. We just witnessed what Texas Democrats did at the House and at the state level. We just witnessed that. They weren't cowards. They put everything on the line, and they were paid almost nothing.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about,
I said cowardice, not cowards. Cowardice. What is the difference?
I'm saying that the senators and the people in Congress, Derek's at 216. You add those senators into it, and you got even more. So I'm just saying they should be all over the country, explaining why the House is shut down. If you can't get it on the media, make sure that the social media you're recording everything, putting it on social media. You should have a social media platform that you use all the time, that everybody can go to and look it up and see what you're saying. That's all I'm saying. They make enough money to do that. I'm sure they do, and I'm sure they got enough money. And when they said George Soros was giving out $3 trillion, I imagine George Soros wished he had $3 trillion because he's just a billionaire. He's not a trillionaire. But I wish he were a trillionaire because he's a supporter of the Democrat Party, and he would be able to help mobilize people on a scale like that, but even bigger. But the thing about it, I'm just saying that the Democrat Party, and not the Democrat Party, the Democrat leadership, let me explain that, that's in D.C., people some of them making as much as almost $300,000 a year because of their seniority. Others are making 160 to 190 to 200,000 a year. They have enough money to go around, and I'm sure they got the Democrat fundraising committee could help them to go, get planes or whatever they need to go around the country while the Republicans got this shut down, so they can become the kind of leadership. They can have the leadership that we really need in the country. I know it's 9 o'clock already. So I'm gonna do one of my books real quick. This one is This Side of Glory, the autobiography of David Hildreth, and the story of the Black Panther Party. So that's one of the books that I'm recommending for. Oh, and let me do this one too. That's the one I was really looking for. The Two Nation, Black and White, Separate, Hostile, and Unequal by Andrew Hacker. So that's a good book to read because it tells you about all kinds of stuff, how we are being mistreated in this country. So I'll give it back to you, Derek.
Well, that is our show for this evening. We thank you for joining us. Tune in next week for another episode. Be safe, everybody. Make it productive and have a great day. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good night.